Welcome to Josh Robinson's 2D Exotic Materials Lab. In our lab, we use chemical vapor deposition as well as chemical exfoliation to grow various materials, from graphene, which is highly conductive, to semiconductors like transition metal dichalcogenides. We also grow superconductors as well as insulators like boron nitride. If you're thinking about joining our lab, you must know that safety is a priority. We have a policy here that you must be safe or you have to go home. Now, before even entering the lab, you must make sure that you have closed-toed shoes and long pants. And because I have long hair, I have to also tie my hair up to keep it out of my work. Upon entering the lab, the first thing we must do is put on our personal protective equipment. On every door, for every lab in this facility, we have a flyer reminding us of the minimum safety requirements in the lab. Let's put on our personal protective equipment. Follow me. The first things we want to do is put on our safety glasses. I find that if you have glasses, the bigger glasses fit over top of them. We also have flyers throughout the lab showing and reminding you what safety equipment you need to put on. Next, once you put your glasses on, you must also put on a lab coat, and the lab coats are situated right over here. Just button them up like this. After your lab coat is put on, you can then put on your safety gloves, which are located right over here along the wall. After every use, you must also throw away your gloves to make sure that you have new gloves for each experiment that you run. This side of the lab is our wet chemistry side, where we do most of our solution processing. We call this side Pandorum because all of the magic happens here. We have 2 fume hoods in this lab, and make sure you know that when the fume hoods are not in use, the lights are turned off and the sash is all the way down. When you use the fume hood, you can turn on the light and open up the sash, making sure that the sash remains below the working sash height to maintain safety. We have 2 cabinets here, a flammable cabinet as well as an acid cabinet to store our materials. If you are unsure about the compatibility of your material or how to handle the chemicals, we have a chemical handling procedure as well as a compatibility chart for your reference. When you are done with your experiment, remember to turn off the light of the fume hood and close the sash all the way down. When you're done using your beakers for your experiment, you can rinse them in this sink over here and hang them up to dry on the rack. Chemicals must be properly disposed of in proper chemical waste bottles, like the one shown here. Notice that they have vented caps as well as proper labeling so that we know exactly what chemicals and how much of them are in there. Also notice that they're in secondary storage containers like these bins to keep everything safe. Now that we've seen the wet chemical side of the lab, let's go to the CVD side. And notice on the way that we have on the board a general process for cleaning substrates, just as your reference if you forget. Now, with CVD systems, we have a lot of glassware, a lot of long quartz tubes. And so if they should break, we need to properly dispose of them. So we have a glass waste container over here. All other waste that does not have any chemicals can go in this waste container here. And we also have an additional sink over here in case there are multiple people using the lab and needing a sink. In our lab, we name all of our furnaces. The first furnace we're looking at is CAL, which grows our transition metal dichalcogenides. For our furnaces, we deal with very high temperature growths, and because of that, everyone must wear thermal resistant gloves when dealing with the furnaces. The next furnace we're looking at is Frank, which is our hottest furnace in the lab. Frank can go up to 2200 degrees centigrade, and it grows our epigraphene materials. And over here, our next furnace we call Sheldon, as in Sheldon Cooper, because it only works when it wants to. Sheldon over here grows our insulating material boron nitride. Come along this side, you can see that all gas cylinders must always be attached to the wall mounts as seen here. Remember, safety is key. And our final furnace over here is our Samurai, which grows our CVD graphene. These furnaces, we're growing exotic materials, so it stands to reason that we're using some exotic precursors, which can be toxic. For this reason, we have a special gas cabinet over here to handle these toxic gases. After you grow your samples, if you want to take a quick look at the material, we have an optical microscope over here to take a quick look at the samples. Thank you for walking through our lab with us. We hope that this quick tour was able to give you a brief overview of the types of furnaces we use and proper safety procedures that deal with them in our lab. Now, when you're done with the lab, you must take off your personal protective equipment, such as your gloves, and you can throw them away here, your lab coat, which can be again stored on the wall over here, and your safety glasses, which will be put up on the rack over here. Thank you again for walking through this lab with us. We hope you have a great day.